දැන් කියන්නම් ආ.
ඔව්.
Good day to all of you. Today, the 4th of September 2022, my Dhamma talk in das Buddhistische House in Berlin, Frohnau. The topic is Here and Now Paradise Nibbana. Here and Now Paradise Nibbana. Here und jetzt Paradies Nirvana. As you all know, we have different sorts of religions in the world. Their paradise is always after death. I go to heaven. That is the paradise that we talk about after we die. The Buddha's paradise is called Nirvana. In German, Wahn is not there, or madness of the human beings is non-existent in Nirvana. What do we say, or how do we say what is mad? There are three things the Buddha is pointed out to us. That is greed, hatred, and delusion. Lobha, dosa, moha. Now let's go back to the Sutra Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, and ask ourselves, when did Siddhartha Gautama became awakened to the Dhamma? When did he become awakened to the Dhamma? He became awakened to the Dhamma 35 years or 36 years, and he proclaimed, I am Buddha. Buddha means awakening. That word Buddha means awakening. After he discovered Nibbana, he went to 5 friends of his and gave a sermon, a Dhamma talk, Dhamma Chakka Pavattana Sutra. This Dhamma talk is called Dhamma Pavattana, to integrate in normal life, or to understand, or to realization. Sutra means talk. This was just after Siddhartha Gautama became awakened. One monk, one out of the 5, realized the Eintrete, Strom Eintrete means stream enter, called Kondanja. He realized that what Nirvana is. Because a person who realizes the stream entry has already knows what is Nirvana. And the Buddha most of the time said to the people that if you are in mindfulness, you're in the vicinity of Nirvana. So this is what really happens. I have been associating so-called Buddhists, and they are always sometimes frightened to go to Nirvana or to achieve Nirvana. Why? Why are they frightened? Because they are enjoying pratyajana, that means commoner, fun or desires, they are enjoying eating, drinking, music, dancing. So they say nirvana will stop all this. Naturally, if you look at yourself from small days up to now, the toys that you were pooper, a doll, or the bicycles, or paintings, which you did with your friends, is not anymore there. It's not that they are not there, they are there, but you don't want to play with them. So, likewise, a person who have achieved nirvana, he will not like to play with small toys. Tranquility and emptiness, thoughtlessness, desirelessness. So, the Buddha explained nirvana in all what is not there. Then what did he say that is there in nirvana? A word called sugato. Sugato means simply happy. Now, even if I or you imagine and says, well, I want to go to nirvana, it just doesn't happen because of your wish. Just doesn't happen. So you have to do some homework, and in this homework, there's one thing that has to be done properly. First of all, one has to start with dana, generosity. Next thing is you have to start your ethical behavior. Under ethical behavior, there are 5 things that the Buddha mentioned. One is not to kill, refrain from destruction of uh, living beings, refrain from taking things that doesn't belong to you, refrain from uh, from putting pressure onto your partners, not to lie, and not to take drugs and alcohol. So these 5 things are related to friendship. If you want to be friendly with a girl or a boy or your neighbor, you have to have character. mm, um, how do you say character Eigenschaft? Huh? Character Eigenschaft.
Trace, yeah. Character trace. Right?
Character trace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Character. In your character, you must have these conditions these 5 conditions I mentioned. So when you have these 5 conditions mentioned, your mind is stable. So once your mind is stable, then you can go for meditation. So meditation is important with uh, generosity and ethical behavior. These two can give you better results in meditation. When you look at Buddha, he meditated for a long, long time. He meditated first with a school that is called Alara. He sharpened his concentration power. And after sharpening concentration power, and after knowing it is not possible to learn anything from this teacher, he went to another person called Uddaka Rama Putra. Now, by Uddaka Rama Putra, he learned how to go into neva sanya na sanya, neither perception or nor perception. Then he told Uddaka Ramaputta, I have achieved this. Then the Uddaka Ramaputtas said, my father who died 3 months ago. Now remember these dates, right? Uddaka, this is 29 years of Buddha. 29 years he left the house. He went to these two teachers, and the second teacher said, my father who died 3 months ago spoke to me about this Siddhartha, but I myself is not there. And invited Siddhartha to teach other people how to get into this situation. Siddhartha denied his offer. He didn't take it because he knew somewhere or other this is not the end of the game as such. This is not nirvana. Somewhere or other he knew. Then he started torturing his body and mind, thinking it is his body, thinking that the mind will be free. So nirvana has something to do with freedom of the mind. That is, please note this. Nirvana has something to do with the freedom of the mind. Because many other religions think of a paradise. You can't think of a paradise without the concept of God. So, in association with the God, you are going to his paradise. So, the God, nobody has met. And Nirvana is a different thing. It's an experiential. You experience Nirvana. And there's not even your consciousness is there. So, what happened to Siddhartha Gautama when he became the Buddha? He experienced Nirvana and explained to the rest of the people, this is how we go to get there. The magic of the Nirvana takes place here and now. So this is why my topic is Nirvana here and now paradise, or paradise here and now dash Nirvana. Now this is important for you to know. There was a 7-year boy who attained Nirvana at this age, 7 years old only. The Buddha's Ananda, who recorded or who by memory kept everything what the Buddha taught, he was not in Nirvana. So knowledge is not going to be Nirvana. There's a word called in Pali, Panya Vimukti. Vimukti means you're free from Panya. Panya means wisdom. So that's why the Buddha said, even this precious Dhamma is non-existent in Nirvana. Please remember that, right? Even this precious Dhamma is non-existent in Nirvana, and the Buddha described the Dhamma as a boat that goes from Ufa. What do you call a Ufa in Deutsch?
Sure.
Huh?
Sure.
Shore.
Sure.
Yeah, the Ufa means in a island you get the beach, right? That is a Ufa, and from that Ufa to go to the other Ufa. So the boat was named as Dhamma, and you don't carry the boat after you go across one shore to the other shore, right? This in German you get Ufa, right? Ufa. So you let go the Dhamma. And that's why the Buddha said, even this precious Dhamma, he said, he used the word precious Dhamma is non-existent in Nirvana. So Nirvana is a now to our minds and in our behavior, we know a lot of things that is compounded, put together, put together. Sankata. The Pali word is Sankata. The next word is Nibbana is Asankata, not put together element. It is not, so if you talk about an atom, you have a proton, neutron, electron. So they exist together. Some of the atoms has to combine with another atom to make a molecule, right? So otherwise they are not stable. In an atom bomb, what happens is you you split the atom, and by splitting the atom, it gets into a chain reaction. So when you talk about a nirvana, it is not even mentally nor chemically. Atom, neutron, proton is not there. So it is not compounded. But the mind can experience nirvana. But what you experience, you can't tell to another person, this is what I experienced. You know that small talk about the frog and the fish. One day they were living together, the fish and the frog. And the frog went out, jammed, and came back. So the fish asked the frog, hey, you, where were you? You were not here? Oh, yes, I was in the earth. So the frog is trying to explain to the fish, when I jump up, I immediately fall down. The fish says, how can that be? Because he's talking in his own experience. So, like that, we have sometimes problems trying to imagine nirvana. You can't, nirvana is not a thing that you can ever imagine. You have to, it's a, you see, we take mathematics and how do you call it, logics to understand things. But if you are going to taste a cake or perfume or music, there are no logics. I love you has no logics, but I love you exists. It's a mental. Is Nibbana, is it a mental? I myself will have difficulties in explaining to somebody. It is not mental. It is not capable of telling the person who experienced nirvana is unable to explain to another person, this is it, because there's nothing that there is. There's no jealousy, there's no greed, there's no hatred, right? But there's also no consciousness. So this is what the Buddha called here and now paradise. You don't have to die to know, to come to know nirvana, but you have to meditate. You have to have ethical behavior, and you have to give donations or you know in the Buddha said dharma is for 100% friendship. So Buddha was telling all the people 45 years to a community, Sangha, Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. I take Buddha who discovered Dhamma, I learn Dhamma for Sangha, for the community. Now, where does Nirvana now he states? When you understand, it is not necessary to measure because I am enjoying the thoughtlessness. Upadana, the word is upadana, holding, clinging to physical feelings and imaginary feelings. You know, you imagine of a cake. So you ate it yesterday. So now you go to your friend or your mother, or go to the shop, cake shop, and buy your cake. And then again, you revive the taste you had couple of days ago. Now, this doesn't happen in Nirvana. You are free from wanting and not wanting. So the mind is very light, or even the mind is not there even to measure. There, I want to be and I do not want to be. This is our normal life. That is why we have stress. Oh, I like it like this, I like it this. Oh, my friend did like this. Oh, my girlfriend or my wife did like this. So we have conflicts, mental conflicts, because I like and I dislike. In Pali terms, it's called vibhava tanna. Tanna means greed, wanting to have, and tanha, not wanting to have. So these two things are making us, we are not free from greed. But nirvana, there's no greed, because you can't realize nirvana, or you will realize nirvana in this way, I would say. No wishes open. That's why the Buddha said the quality of the arahats, awakened person, he does not measure good and bad. So the mind is very, very, very light. And it's a here and now paradise. Okay? So I know you are listening to me and you are trying to imagine the books you have read. With books you have read, it is like a cooking recipe. If you have tasted the cake, so you can have a certain amount of imagination about the cake, about perfume, about. But here is a realization. This element does exist. It's not unconditional. No conditions are necessary for nirvana. You need a consciousness to know through meditation that you are born. And if you are born, you have to know you have a body. What is the body doing to you? You breathe in and out, then you sit, you walk, you stand, and you sleep. Then the body has a consciousness. Then the body has 32 parts that comes out of your body. Hair, tears, and anyway, there are 32 parts. Then the body has main ingredients: water element, heat element, earth element, uh, warm element, heat element, air element, and earth element. Four these things. These are, in German you call it Bausteine, building blocks. So you have to know that. Then the feeling world. And there's, remember what the Buddha said is in the Tripitaka here. He said, there's no nirvana. One and only way is satipatthana, mindfulness of the body, the feeling world, the mind, coming to know what the mind is, and mental formation. Geistige Formation, yeah, in German you call it geistige Formation. So this has to be, you have to understand your body to let go the body. See the difference here. There's a nice cake or nice music, a nice perfume. None of this you understand. You taste them. Okay. In the nirvana, in the case of nirvana, you experience no mind and then come back to mind. Experiencing thoughtlessness can be done by not thinking how to stop thinking, but by observing your breath. So if you start thinking, I do not want to think, there are concepts following you and will make you go mad. But if you observe your breath, keep on observing breath. When thoughts come, you don't get involved in the thoughts. Then what happens is, slowly, steadily, the mind will be going to a place which is thoughtlessness. To know you have thoughts, you need a consciousness. To know that you do not have a you don't have a thoughts, you need a consciousness. So consciousness is there. What happened is the consciousness is not there. So when you sleep, the consciousness is not there. And when you get up and come in the morning to have breakfast and say, how do you do? Did you sleep well? Well, if you say yes, but you can't explain how well you slept, you can only tell your friends, well, I slept well, but you can't explain. But when you were sleeping, just because you cannot explain, so nirvana is a thing in a in the case of a you slept very well and you cannot explain, doesn't tell you tomorrow I will have the same good quality sleeping. Tomorrow will be different. Maybe day after tomorrow you will sleep again very well. So, so the mind. But in the case of nirvana, you you realize nirvana only once. There are no two ways to realize nibbana. Once you realize nibbana, you will always, because it's so free of mind. You know, the Jnanananda Katukurinde has said, he's written, mind stilled, mind frozen. The problem is this mind. The mind is the one who demands, and what he demands, when he get it, he demands something else because he's not satisfied what he had. So this is our life, always demanding to have pleasure. Nothing wrong in pleasure, but wanting to have it again or not wanting, that is the problem that happens. So if we all uh, don't be frightened of nibbana, because just because Buddha did not die because he achieved, we realized nibbana. He lived 45 years after achieving nibbana, and it never went out. Once you achieve nibbana, it doesn't go. But it's with, you need full consciousness to achieve nibbana, and that is through this generosity, ethical behavior, and bhavana, which is called meditation. These three things has to go. Dana, sila, bhavana, that is generosity. Then sila, samadhi, panya, um, tranquility. Uh, sila means ethical behavior. Then tranquility. Then wisdom. So all these are necessary. But like the boat going one shore to the other shore, you let go. Your wisdom will do the rest of the work, but you have to have ping. Ping means merits. A lot of people forget this factor. You have to earn merits, doing good deeds to the rest of the world. That is very important. So, it is not knowledge that is going to take us to nirvana. Wisdom and knowledge is different, because the knowledge normally can show you how to do things. Wisdom will show you this is the way it happens. There's a big difference, big difference. So when you come to know, taking wisdom, wisdom will tell you or show you everything in the world has a uasaka, cause, correct cause. Uasaka means cause. Everything in the world has a cause, and an effect. Then wisdom will show you this is called vipassana. Wisdom will show you everything is interdependent. But Nirvana is not interdependent because there's no element here. There's no element to that is, but it is your mind can experience this Nirvana. Aha effect. That's it. And you will never let go because look at Buddha, look at arahats. They live like we live. They live like we live. They eat, they drink, they go to the toilet, they sleep, they walk. What is the difference between no upadana, no clinging, nicht keine Anhaftung? In German, you say no, you are Anhaftung means you don't give descriptions to the feeling world, doesn't mean the feeling is stopped. The banana for a Buddha or an awakened person and to a normal person is the same taste as chocolates or something like that. Perfumes also. But he has stopped clinging. Then nirvana. So now when you say, when you say this, that's very easy. To a certain amount of, you see, we human beings, right? There's a word called prachagdana, normal people. We we are habitual, habit. So I smoke, right? 10 years. So 5 years ago, my mother, my brother, my girlfriend, my wife, my sons, everybody said, don't smoke. So I decide not to smoke, but I still continue to smoke 5 years. What is the reason when I started to smoke? Now I should be able to, no, that's a habit overtakes Vernuft. Vernuft means reasoning out, yeah. Vernuft, yeah. Reasoning. Habit overtakes Vernuft, reasoning out. So you have to break that. The only way to break that is observing your body and your mind. When you say observing my body and your mind, it has three stages: external, internal, and internal and external. So you have to know things as they are. One of the things that he has here, I will show Yoniso Manasikara. Yoniso Manasikara means how the sense organs are interacting with the rest of the world. That is one. That is a part to say things as they are. The next thing that is things as they are is called Yatha Bhuta Jnana Dassana. Bhuta means elements. In this case, the four elements or building blocks or Bausteine in German with Bausteine that your body is made out of: water element, heat element, air element, and tangible where here what you can touch. Air element is going in and out in our body. So that when you meditate, you will come to know, yeah. Then water element is 74%. Then there's heat element. You have a heat temperature. Then you have the skin, the hair, and things like that. Now, this I am only explaining to you. You have to understand this is not in the simple way of understanding. The earlier stage which I explained to you, the sense organs are made out of these four elements. This realization gives entrance, like you have the exam entrance to go into sankhara upekka jnana. Sankhara, condition, equanimity towards condition. There is nirvana. So I think I have spoken to enough, and I hope and wish, don't be frightened of nirvana. You will be only happier than your happiness here and now, which is the normal world is me, my husband, my children, and so on. But the nirvana, normally you go to uh, uh, to a forest or a hermitage. That is to continue the meditation without breaking it. You have to continue the meditation. Yeah. Rukka mula gatova, aranya gatova. These are Pali terms to say ruk means go to a tree, sit down on a tree. Then aranya means a hermitage, go and practice meditation. Then mindfulness. So meditation is a tool that is necessary for like a magnifying glass. So you have to have these tools in order to go to realize nirvana. It's not a big deal, you know. I'm telling you, don't be frightened of nirvana. And nirvana is never an imaginary position. I am going there. There's no I in nirvana. That is one of those conditions that then the meaning I happens through ability to read the memory. If there's no memory that you cannot read, that I, me and my world does not exist. But nirvana, me and my world doesn't exist. Not because you can't access memory. You have access memory, and you see in that memory everything is subject to the change, wandle, yeah, change. So this change factor is very very important for nirvana. So my memory is not me, but it gives you a false understanding. I was 5 years old and now I'm 8. You have been changing all the time. That changing factor helps a lot to realize nirvana. So I thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Oh, yeah.